Welcome to this video series of C++ programming. This is the very first lecture of this video series, and today we'll talk about introduction and history of C++ programming. The development of C++ was started by Danish scientist called John Strostrup in year 1979, and initially it was named as C with classes. So Strostrup named it as C with classes. It wasn't named as a C++. And he started his development while he was working in the AT&T Bell Laboratories in the United States. C++ was influenced by another programming language which was developed at that time called as the Simula 67, but that language was too slow for the practical use. So Stroustrup set out to enhance the C language with a similar like feature. So he took a C as a reference and he started development of C++ using the Simula and C programming. C was chosen because it was general purpose, fast, portable, and widely used language at that time. So the C is a base or reference of the C++ programming language. And most of the features from C language are present in the C++ with the additional or advanced modifications or newly added features in C++. There are many other languages those influence C++, including Algol, 68, Ada, CLU, and ML. Let's talk some of the important features of C++ programming. First, C++ is an object-oriented programming. So we often talk about this object-oriented programming. So that means the programming model, language model is organized around objects rather than actions and data rather than the logic. So in C, a lot of things are based on the logic. I mean, C programs are sequential and everything is logical. But in C++, everything is defined almost in terms of objects. So we create a class and we create an instance of that class, and that instance is called as an object. And then this data present in that class is bounded with that object. So the data can be accessed through those objects. So in this object-oriented programming concept, and say the data is, I mean, the model is organized around the data rather than its logic. So there is a more control over the data as compared to C programming language. C++ is a superset of C programming as it is derived from the C programming language. C++ is a general purpose compile language. That means you should have a compiler to compile your C programs. So the programs which are written by you using any IDE, those will be compiled by the C program compiler, and they will convert into an executable format. So that executable can run on your computer system or any other target processor. For example, the processor which is running on any embedded control system. C++ reduces complexity writing a large programs. This is typically a problem in the C programming. So when your program goes above a certain line limits, it becomes very difficult to maintain and it becomes very complex. So C++ provides more reduces this complexity while writing the large programs, since your programs is organized in terms of objects, in terms of classes and objects that become very easy to maintain and thus reduces the complexity as well. C++ is used in the applications such as the games, operating systems, and very low-level programming that requires better control of hardware on the PC or the server, like embedded systems. So C++ is one of the widely used programming language in the embedded systems. Let's see how this C++ evolved over this year. So development was started in the 1979, and it was called as a C with classes. So initially, a few features were added to C++ programming, and later on, as the C++ went through a standardization, many new features were added to it. So in 1983, this C++ with classes was renamed to C++, and this plus plus is the increment operator in C. So it's like a incrementation in the C. So C++ is a superset of C language programming. In 1985, the first edition of C++ language was released, and the first commercial implementation was released in the October of same year. Then in 1989, C++ 2.0 standard was released, Again, some features were added in the 1991. In 1990, the annotated C++ reference manual was published. So this work became the basis for the future standards. After the 2.0 update, the evolution of C++ was relatively slow until in 2011 the C++11 standard was released, adding numerous new features to it. Then another standard C++14 was released in the December 2014, adding another new features. So there was another standard C++17 which was released in the 2017, and further changes are planned for the 2020. So this is how C++ has evolved over the years. And now in today's world, C++ is the third mostly popular language behind Java and C. So this is about this introduction and the history of a C++. Now we'll see what are the different topics that we are going to cover in this entire video series. So I divided this video series into the three parts. So first part will cover, this entire video series is targeted for the beginners. So all the basic concepts of C++ programming are covered. And we're not going to discuss about the advanced topics in this video series. So the first part will cover we'll write our first C++ program, then I will introduce you to the classes and objects. We'll talk about the structures and unions in C++. We'll see this friend functions and friend classes. We'll see the inline functions, static members in C++. We'll see how to pass and return the objects to your functions in C++ programming. We'll talk about the nested and local classes. It's going to be relatively very easy. In the second part, we'll talk more about the pointers and some of the advanced topics of C++ programming. We'll talk about how this constructor and destructor, how they are useful in the C++ programming. We'll see the array of objects and pointers, these pointers, pointer to class members, references, which is one of the important topic. Then we'll talk how we can allocate memory dynamically in C++ programming. Then we'll talk about this the compile time polymorphism feature of C++ programming by understanding function overloading. We'll see the copy constructor and what is the default function arguments. And finally, we'll understand the ambiguities present in the function overloading. In part 3, we'll talk about the more advanced features of C++, like operator overloading, using friend function to overload the operators. Then we'll discuss inheritance in these three parts. We'll talk about these virtual functions, via virtual functions and abstract classes. And finally, this quite a new features of C++, that's templates, casting operators, and namespaces. So this is how this entire video series is organized. So this will talk, we'll focus more on the programming part. Will I explain the practicals? We'll write a program to understand these different things. So thanks for watching this video, and I hope you'll join me in this video course. So thanks for watching this video and stay tuned for the upcoming videos.